Good evening, I'm Ryan Jotes, and this is your Barbados Today evening update for Tuesday, October 3rd. Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs Chris Sinclair is conceding that the economy will not grow by 2% this year. In fact, he says given the impact government's tight fiscal program will have, there will be no more than 0.5 and 0.7% in 2017. This is in keeping with the forecast made by the International Monetary Fund back in June.
Of course, because we have such a tight fiscal program, demand is going to be constrained. And once demand is constrained in an economy like Barbados, it is likely that growth is going to come back. We don't think that is going to be as significant as some people are pointing out, as much as 1 and 1.5%. We believe it will be about 0.5 to 0.7%. So we wouldn't get 2% growth as was originally predicted at the beginning of the year before there was this budget. We're likely to get anywhere between 1.5 to 1.7. I think that's where the central bank and the others are projecting it, but we'll wait and see how that comes out. In terms of the fiscal, as I said, we continue to monitor it. We seem to be on track, but we have to ensure that we keep the expenditures under control, because that's the other point. People only look at the revenue side. We have to look at the expenditure side. And things come up from time to time that are unexpected and that you have to make provision for. So we're hoping that we can keep those done now.
Striking workers at the state-owned Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation will be back on the job tomorrow in a show of good faith ahead of pay talks between their bargaining agent, the Barbados Workers Union, and management of the corporation. That meeting is scheduled for 10 a.m. at CBC's Pine headquarters. Consultant to the General Secretary of the BWU, Sir Roy Trotman, told Barbados Today that the union has had a change of heart, even though they still remain disappointed by the apparent lack of priority which the matter has received.
We think that it is a source of great disappointment that faster action was not taken. We also are disappointed that we were not told by the minister when she wrote us that she was not going personally to be present and involved in those discussions. But the Office of Minister of Labour will be involved, and we have no fear about our own confidence, and we have respect for the person who, as we understand it, will be chairing those meetings in the person of Senator Husbands. As a measure of good faith, we think that we will resume work.
Incumbent opposition Barbados Labour Party candidate Santia Bradshaw should take home the St. Michael South East seat by a wider margin, with the defection of her former opponent Patrick TANNIS from within the ranks of the Democratic Labour Party. Political scientist Dr. George Bell further believes that the BLP's base will be strengthened with the addition of TANNIS, who came within 10 votes of taking the constituency in the 2008 elections. He was speaking to Barbados Today following Sunday's announcement by TANNIS that he was back home to help the BLP secure the next government.
If the present trend in which a party has been involved in considerable negative policies has an impact on the electorate, which we wouldn't want to the election, of course, then it is reasonable, though, to conclude that this should be reflected in the behavior of the electorate. And therefore, the fact that Mr. Tannis got 10 votes short of Santia last time is not necessarily going to be repeated this time, because the swing is likely to be towards her and not towards the opposing party, which is the ruling regime. So I think in that, if we take those things into account, it is first of all that the base from which her opponent is coming is very fluid, and that her chances ought to improve.
Police and transport authorities are investigating 2 separate videos circulating on social media which highlight reckless behavior by public service vehicle operators. Within the last 2 weeks, the videos have been making the rounds. The first shows a route taxi racing through the river van stand with its conductor hanging through the door of the vehicle close to the road, to the cheers of the onlookers that were gathered. And in the second, a minibus is seen packed to capacity with at least 3 persons outside the door while the bus is in motion. Director of the Barbados Transport Authority Alex Linton tells Barbados Today there must be a stop to these practices which are illegal and endanger commuters.
If the public sees things like this, I would prefer that they contact the Transport Authority. We have a hotline and we have emails. You call us at 435-3518 and let us know what you see, and you can send us footage by email and whatnot. So I would prefer it come to us instead of circulating through the media. Let us deal with it where we can take action. Second thing is, these things are against the law. If you look in the law, you're only supposed to carry X amount of passengers. And overcrowding is dangerous, it's unsafe, and, we really need to desist from these practices.
The interim chairman of the Association of Private Transport Operators, Maurice Lee, has also condemned the actions of all involved and has called for the relevant authorities to reprimand the perpetrators. In fact, Lee believes that such persons should be placed before the law courts if found guilty.
No kind of recklessness or indiscipline or misbehavior by any PSV, whether it be a minibus or ZR, requires no defense of any kind. And that's the position that myself and the association have maintained for years. There are laws on the statute books that more or less are in place to govern that kind of behavior. That kind of behavior should never be condoned by owner, operator, passenger, or law enforcement officer. So as far as I'm concerned, those individuals that have participated in that behavior need swiftly to be brought before the authorities, and whatever action has to be taken has the support of the association.
Meantime, the police public relations officer, Inspector Roland Cobbler, says the force will continue to enforce traffic laws as it relates to public service operators who continue to breach the law with no regard for life. It was a solemn affair as family and well-wishers today bade farewell to 1-month-old baby KAIDEN Costa Greenwich in an intimate funeral service held at the Ebenezer Seventh-day Adventist Church in Eden Lodge. KAIDEN passed away on September 13th at the state-run Queen Elizabeth Hospital after his parents were summoned to collect him from the Divine Day nursery where he was being looked after. His parents, Petra Rouse and Silverson Greenwich, remained composed throughout the 45-minute service. There was no eulogy, but Pastor Winston Cook, in delivering a brief message, told those gathered to try to be more childlike. Seeking to comfort the grieving family, he reminded them that God was a very present help in times of trouble, and that weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. KAIDEN was interred at the Westbury Cemetery.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Morning, Miss Oya. Morning. You again. So you're washing cars now? Well, I can't keep up with you at all.
Yes, girl, you know they're going to provision to selling slow. And I don't sell nation newspapers at all because them don't sell. So I washing cars now. I like to get up before 8:30 because I can't take the hot sun. You want the car wash?
No, not today. It clean.
But you're going in very early though?
Yeah, I just going early so I can read the Barbados today online before work starts.
Right. But you can still let me clean the window for the $2. At least it's still cheaper than the nation newspaper.
All right.
I got a special boo here that I got it shining. Thank you. Enjoy your day here.
You too.
All right. What that paper is? She can see clearly when the dirt is gone.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Prime Minister Dr. Gonsalves has refuted claims by some that his government is taking a nonchalant attitude with the recent spate of crime in the country. Gonsalves, who is responsible for national security matters, said it is the important thing that the police be given the space to do their work, and that it is very unproductive for him to comment on every incident of crime in the country. And further afield, Spain's King Philip VI has condemned organizers of Catalonia's independence referendum for having put themselves outside the law. In a TV address to the nation, he said the situation in Spain was extremely serious and called for unity.
Unfortunately, we have arrived at a stage where the situation in Catalonia is fractured, where the authorities have shown disrespect to all Spanish people. This could even put at risk the security and stability of Spain. All of this has culminated in an unacceptable attempt by the Catalonian authorities to put themselves outside the law and outside democracy.
Thousands in Catalonia have been protesting over Spanish police violence during Sunday's vote, during which nearly 900 people were hurt. The central government in Madrid has declared a referendum as illegal. And that's news. For the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. Subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Ryan Jones. Continue to enjoy your evening.